We have another guest. Raymond Bell has joined us.
Oh, good.
Hey there. Hey, Tony.
How you doing, Raymond? Good to
I'm doing
meet
all
you.
right. How about you, man?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
You're looking great, man. You're looking great.
Well,
You're
thank
such
you.
a warrior, a battler.
That's
You're
what
a
we-
warrior, man.
That's it, Ray.
Raymond, you want to tell everybody who you are? Thanks for coming on our show. I really
Let me
appreciate
tell Raymond, because he's humble.
it. Okay.
Ray Bell was an exceptional linebacker for the UCLA Bruins under, I think he played for Pepper Rogers and then for Dick Vermeil, and was a linebacker on the 1976 Rose Bowl team that beat the #1 ranked and undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes. He went on to have, how many Emmys have you won, Raymond?
Two Emmys.
Won two Emmys for his work in entertainment production. And just last week, John Shara, who knows Tony, and I were blessed to go see a play. Raymond, you might talk about Called Up, the Emmett Ashford story.
Oh,
yeah.
Emmett Ashford. No kidding, man. I used to work with Emmett Ashford.
Wow.
I
Wow.
gotta tell-
Well,
I have Emmett Ashford's umpire cap, Ray.
Wow.
what?
Yeah, I have a Emmett Ashford umpire cap. I saw him umpire in Spokane, Washington in the minors. And then when I was the Brewers visiting clubhouse bat boy, and he was an umpire, the first African-American umpire in the major leagues. And I had to clean the umpire room all the time. And he was the pure gentleman. I loved Emmett Ashford. So one day I said, Mr. Ashford, could I get one of your umpire caps? And he gave me his umpire cap.
Do you still have it?
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Well, we got to talk. I'm not gonna hold you guys with what I'm doing, but it's great to see everyone here first. Everyone here, I've had some kind of tie-in with them in some way here. Doc Walker, teammate, Coach Harrick, I've covered you, and Coach Mike Scioscia. I've been out at Angel Stadium covering you with the World Series and so forth. When I was with Fox Television, Coach Adams, you're a legend with us Bruins. Brian Winters, of course. Just everyone here is just a legendary figure. But the thing that I'm doing now is a documentary on Emmett Ashford, and it's going to be on PBS later this year. We've got a screening. We've held two screenings, one in Berkeley, California. We had Vita Blue, a guy by the name of Shooty Babbitt, Doug McWilliams, who was a great Tops photographer, and author, a sports journalist by the name of Dave Newhouse. And out here in Chapman University just last week, certainly somebody that Mike will know, Mike Scioscia. We had Tim Mead, who was a former vice president of the Angels Communication and past president of the Hall of Fame, was out to visit with us and sat on the panel out at Chapman University. Adrian Ashford as well. But the documentary will be out. I'll exchange numbers with all you guys at later and get you some more information about what I'm doing. But man, I'm so honored, Tony. We talked when we were out at Coach Donahue's memorial, and certainly we mentioned about your connection with UCLA is just legendary as far as your work with Coach as well. You're talking about a friend, a buddy, a pal, just a guy that didn't ask for anything but gave everything to the coach as a friend. And man, you're greatly admired amongst all us Bruins. And man, I would be remiss if I couldn't make this call, man, because I had to see you. When they told me about it, I couldn't believe it. And I said, you got to be kidding me, not Tony, man. But when I look at you now, man, you look like 10 million. So I'm so happy to be on this call with all you guys, man.
Well, thank you for coming on. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's
Yes.
great to see you and the great work that you're doing. And yeah, I mean, and it's great to have so many Bruins in baseball right now, and Mike, I forgot to mention, thank you again for having Coach Wooden out for that first pitch in that World Series that you won in 2002. It's a highlight of my life. I mean, I still get chills because you just allow me to walk out there with you and Coach and watch him throw out that first pitch. And then we got to sit with the commissioner and just the way we were treated, it was tremendous. And, I did want to mention that. I forgot to mention that. I don't know if Raymond knows that, I was like Pat Mcbride was a former bat boy with the Los Angeles Dodgers back in the day when we had the all switch hitting infield. So
Tony, it was our pleasure to have.
Tony, I got to jump, and I just want to wish you well. I'll keep you in my prayers.
Thank you, Brian.
Always great to see you whenever
Thanks,
I can.
Brian.
You're looking good. Hang in there. Be tough. You'll get over this, and I wish you all the best in the future. And as I said, I'll keep you in my prayers, and always have great memories of our days with the Bucks.
Thank you, and my best to you and your family, and stay well. Yeah.
You too. Take care.
Okay.
Tony
Brian, thanks
Spino,
for
this
coming
is
on.
See you, B man.
Frank Stevens.
See you, Mike.
How
See
you
you,
doing,
Pat.
buddy?
Thanks for coming on.
Hey, this is Frank Stevens, Tony.
Frank,
Can
how
you
are
hear me?
you?
Hey,
Hey, I'm
Frank.
doing
Thanks for
great,
coming on.
man.
Good.
Hey, I'm out here. I'm coaching at a high school out here, and we're in our weight training right now. But I wanted to contact you from the field and just say, hey, man, keep it in God's hands. You look strong. You did a great job working at UCLA. I remember when you left and went to the Bucks. Man, we were all disappointed. Now, I don't know if anybody cried or not, but I tell you, we really missed you. And when you came back, man, it was just a blessing for UCLA and the athletic department. I mean, I heard coaches say number of wonderful things about you, Val Condos. She loved you, man. You really helped her team. And a lot of people don't understand that the work that you guys do behind the scenes is what make us look so good on Saturday on the field or on the court. So I just want to say this, Tony, keeping you in prayer. And I'm just saying, man, it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to be on this call today, like Ray was saying, and like everybody else is saying. God bless you and God keep you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank, for coming on. We know you had to coach today, and we really appreciate you popping in like that.
Mike, you were about to say something?
No, I was just going to say it was our pleasure, Tony, when you and Coach came out before our World Series and participated in the first pitch. And we're not dummies. We're trying to bring great mojo. And totally honest, you were there with Coach. I could feel the positive mojo, and we needed every ounce of that to beat the Giants. Trust me. Series, and you guys got it off on the right foot. And you guys, thank you guys for everything you guys did for us. We just played the game.
Well, I'll tell you real quickly. When we went in that golf cart around that stadium, that stadium was just shaking. I couldn't believe it. And then when we went and sat with the commissioner, and you were down 5-0 or 6-0,
yeah,
the commissioner turned to Coach Wood and he said, "Do you think this game is over?" And Coach went, "Heck no." He said, "Heck no," because the commissioner looked back at me and said, "Does Coach Wooden like baseball?" I said, "He can name the greatest player that ever played by position and give you all their stats." Okay. And Bud turned to me and said, "Oh, he used to be able to do that." And Coach leaned over my shoulder. He goes, "I can do that right now if you want me to."
Exactly. Well, with all respect to every other sport represented in basketball and football, Coach confided to me his favorite sport was baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I don't know if he tells that to anybody he had to talk to. If he had a football guy there, maybe he said my favorite sport was football, but he told me his favorite sport was baseball. And he went on to say how that was love was baseball, but he was just his life path took him to basketball. And we're thankful it did, obviously, for all the things that he accomplished, and all the great lessons that he gave us. But he was baseball first, is what he told me. I don't know if he told you something different, Tony.
Oh, no. I think he always told me the reason why we got along so well is because we both love baseball, and we would sit at his place and play trivia. And I would go way, way back in his day and tell him, and he would ask me questions and I'd give him the answers, and he would just look, he's like, you're too young to know that. I mean, he and I were 50 years apart in age, but yet we were so close in our thoughts and just the way people should be treated, and just, you be kind to people and you help people. And he was just, he always thought that's what really brought us together was baseball. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was, what a special, just what a special person. And, like I said, there's so many people you meet in this world, but when you meet someone like Coach Wooden, it's special, and you can feel it. I never heard him say it. Like I said, I only met him maybe a dozen times and had conversations with him, maybe, half hour at a time here and there. It wasn't anything, really deep, but I never heard him say a bad word about anyone. And I'm sure he had guys that maybe he would, let maybe they weren't his cup of tea, but I never heard him say anything disparaging about anyone.
Yeah. And he always shared with me and told me, he said, Tony said, I had a lot of different players and I couldn't treat them all the same, but I could love them all the same. So, he loved.
One quick question while I got here, Tony. Is that a true story about Bill Walton when he came in and made him didn't tell him to get his hair cut, but he might have thrown him off the team when he came back from summer vacation? Is that a true story?
It's a true story. I was standing right there.
Oh my gosh.
We're in the middle of the Poly Pavilion. Bill comes in on his bicycle down the elevator, and he calls him over, and we're getting ready to get on the court for practice. And he says, Bill, he looked at him on both sides and he said, you need a haircut. And Bill said, I'm not going to get a haircut. And he said, well, it's been nice having you in our program.
Wow.
And Bill said, well, Coach, how much time do I have? He says, well, you have 30 minutes to get a haircut and come back, or you're no longer in our program. You can go somewhere else. So he got on his bike and went to Westwood and went to a guy named Cammy who used to cut hair for all the players, all the athletes down there. He had a barbershop. And he came back and he rode his bike and came down to the floor and came out on the floor, and Coach looked at him and said, Bill, it's not as short as I like, but you did get it cut. So if you'd like to stay on the team, you're welcome.
Wow.
Classic.
Hey, Mike,
that's
Mike,
the true
do you
story.
remember?
And I looked at him like, oh my God, he's going to kick Bill off the team for a haircut. But he was so in his way that you had to get a haircut. I mean, and if
I have a question for Mike.
You were an Afro-American. If you were an Afro-American player and you had a fro, it was fine, but it couldn't be over your ears. It could be way up here about make you 3 feet taller, but it couldn't be over your ears. Or he would just say, out of here. Boom.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, Mike, I have a question for you.
Okay, Gary.
See if you remember when we had that sort of like barbecue at UCLA guy's house.
Yeah.
And Joe Torre was there and you were there, and we were asking questions to Coach Wood, and you were asking all kinds of questions, and you asked him this question, John, when you're watching television and the Dodgers are playing when we Angels are playing, which game are you watching? Yeah. And John's answer was, I'm channel surfing.
Exactly.
Oh, was he a channel surfer?
Oh,
and
yeah.
and
He would
another
drive me
memory is what the throwing out of the when he threw the first pitch. It was prior to it was the first game of the World Series, I think.
Yes.
Game 6.
And anyway, when John came back to UCLA, I saw him And I said, hey, saw you throw the first pitch. And he said, yeah, I threw a slider. I said, well, what do you mean a slider? He said, well, when it hit the dirt, it slid the rest of the way to the catcher. So anyway, a couple stories.
No, he
You
was.
know, you-
That's great.
Yeah, that's a great story. And, you know, it took me,
It's just cherish those memories. Little time, like I keep saying, I've only met him maybe a dozen times, but I cherish every minute and just what came out of his mouth just oozed with so much common sense and such respect and integrity that he was a gift for the ages, no doubt.
I mean, it took me a long time, Mike, to convince him to go do it because he was afraid of embarrassing himself.
Wow. I don't
He
know how
was-
he did that, but
He was so afraid.
glad he did it.
He was so afraid. And I still never got a picture from anybody on that. I would love to have a picture, but he was just afraid to embarrass himself. And so I spent a lot of time talking him into going to that.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you talked him into it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of mentioned Casey Jones as not getting the kind of accolades that is deserved. Are there any other people out there that you collectively, gentlemen and lady, that would find that kind of deserve a bit more accolades, going under the radar, that kind of thing?
Wayne Embry, I can tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody's got to do a long story, Ray. You got to do a movie on Wayne Embry, because Tony and I worked for Wayne Embry. And he was
actually coming on.
African-American,
Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes, sir. And
Well said. Yeah.
he was the finest leader that I ever worked for.
Mhm.
And,
He actually was coming on, and at the last second, he had another interview, and he couldn't make it.
He's so humble and he's so quiet, but I have some amazing stories about what he taught me as a young man. I was the youngest equipment manager in pro sports, and he would teach me things. I'd have to bring a budget to him, and he brought all the lessons from the Boston Celtics. He learned from Red, and of course he knew KC very well. They were teammates, and I've got some amazing stories about the great Bill Russell, about what kind of man he was. When Bill Russell showed up at our arena, he'd come to Milwaukee and he knew every security guard, every ball boy, every person on the way in, he knew by name, and he would greet them. And of course, there were no notes. They were all up here. But there was something about it's like UCLA, where there's a legacy about how you are because of people like John Wooden and Tony Spino. And people treat each other with respect, and there's a history and a culture, and that's what the Celtics built. And so the Milwaukee Bucks tried to bring that in. So they brought in Wayne Embry, and they brought other people from the Celtics. And I remember Wayne Embry teaching me things about, we don't draft the best athlete, we draft winners. So we would rather draft somebody that came from a winning culture than draft the better athlete. And we'd sit in training camp, and he'd tell me why he's picking this guy and why he's picking that guy. And it's about character and integrity. And I mean, Wayne Embry, and he's still doing it. I mean, I was just at the Naismith Hall of Fame when Bobby Dandridge got inducted, and Wayne Embry's working on the Veterans Committee. So if you want Casey Jones to get in there, you got to talk to Wayne Embry. That's what we got to do, because Wayne's still got a lot of pull. Unfortunately, Wayne's not looking as healthy, but Ray Bell, you really should interview Wayne Embry. And he was the pioneer of African-American administrators in professional sports, just like Henry Aaron in baseball. Way before that was Wayne Embry, and he's so quiet, nobody knows it. Nobody
He's a great
knows
guy.
his history, right? And
he
he engineered the Oscar Robertson trade. He stole Oscar Robertson because he knew Bob Cousy was a racist. I can tell you that. And we got a championship. I mean, that's serious, because Oscar Robertson was the head of the Players Association, and Cousy and the Royals were furious about it. And Oscar was when Oscar came and showed up, we knew we were going to win a championship. Putting him with Kareem. Was
Mhm.
Oscar took over from the day he got there, and Wayne traded nothing. I mean, no disrespect to the two players he sent, but they weren't in the league of Oscar Robertson, Flynn Robinson, and Charlie Polk. I mean, it was a joke. And so Cousy wanted Robertson out of there, and Wayne Embry knew it and brought Oscar to us. We should have won 3 championships. We lost in game 7 at home once, and it was Oscar's last game in the NBA. He was just old and tired,
Well, I'm a Celtic fan, so I beg to differ on that one. That last one.
Yeah. I know.
Well, and then Lucius Allen also slipped on the towel.
That's right. In Detroit. And Tony,
Yes, I told him to throw that towel so we can win that championship.
Yeah. If we had Lucius Allen, we would have won that championship. If we had Lucius, we would have won that championship without a doubt. With no question. We couldn't cover
we
half.
actually have Kiki Vandeweghe. Is that right, Rob?
Yeah, I see Kiki there. Hey, Pat, we'll talk about that. I want to just add in that my director-producer, Doug Harris, knows him very well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he did a documentary on Don Barksdale and Pete Newell. And so he had to consult him for Pete Newell as well. But we'll talk about that a little later. I don't want to take up anyone's time, but I'll contact you after.
You bet. I went on too long, but Wayne is deserving.
No doubt.
Agreed.
And he wishes he could have been on. He really feels bad because he was coming on right to the last second.
Yeah, and Tony and I had the privilege to work with him. So
he's a great guy.
Yeah, and Wayne, when he went to hire me, he called Ducky Drake at UCLA and said, we're thinking about hiring Tony, and what do you think about him? And Ducky's answer was, do you know who I am? And Wayne said, yeah, you're Ducky Drake. He said, well, that's who you're getting. You're getting another Ducky Drake. He said, so you need to hire him.
Wow.
And Wayne went on and hired me. And I always thought he was one of the best bosses that I ever had. I mean, I had great respect for Wayne. The day I get hired, Ray, I'm sitting in the office waiting to go into his office to meet with him. I'm sitting out by the secretary's desk. I go in and he says, the first thing he says to me, now, Tony, you got to go out and tell everybody that we made the best deal and we had to trade the Kareem to LA.
Wow.
And I was stunned.
Oh, yeah, right. That was the day you.
Here I'm thinking, I'm going there. We're going to have Kareem. I've got another chance to win a championship or win my first NBA championship. Instead, we went into a total rebuilding process, which Wayne did. And he rebuilt the team into a really excellent team in the 4 or 5 years I was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony,
sorry.
Tony, I just wanted to say this is Kiki Vandeweghe. Good to see
Kiki.
Good to see everybody. Good to see you.
Thanks, Kiki, for coming on.
I had a couple minutes. I wanted to jump on for Tony anything, and glad to see you. Glad to see everybody.
Thank you.
So
Good to see you, Kiki.
yeah, it was fun times at UCLA. We had a lot of good times together. Never gave me a bad tape job. So we're in great shape, and I could co-sign Wayne Embry as well. Became very good friends with him over the years, mainly initially through Pete Newell, who I spent a lot of time at the Pete Newell Big Men's Camp. But it was just an amazing group, an amazing era of people. And I think if I were just to say one thing, it was that era doesn't get enough credit for building the NBA, building sports, making a difference, pioneering, diversity and inclusion and all the great things that the current NBA stands for. And just setting the foundation for great basketball, great entertainment, bringing joy to a lot of people that none of us even know. So that era of which a lot of you were part of, just to be on with you,
is an honor. Many of you I've known through the years or have watched when I was in diapers, but it's great to be on with everybody. So just wanted to say hello. Appreciate
Thank
the
you for
invite.
coming on. It's great to see you.
We
and
appreciate you
continued
coming on,
success.
Keith.
All right, everybody.
Thanks.
Enjoy.
All right, Kiki.
Good job, Kiki.
Tony, Tony's the best trainer. All I can say is he's a great trainer. And Tony, I'll talk to you. Get well. Gotta
Same
run.
to you, Coach. I hope you
And,
get well.
Love you, man. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Nice to talk to all of you. Thanks for having me on.
Good to see you, Coach.
Junior,
Coach.
Coach Harrick.
Billy.
Do well.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Tony, you
All right.
stay strong, man. Stay strong. You built
Okay.
this.
Thank
Stevens.
you.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
Yeah,
right.
take care, Tony.
Let's do it
Keep you
again,
in our
Tony.
prayers.
Thank
All right, brother. God bless.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Love you,
You guys
man.
got-
Love all
you
you
guys
guys.
gotta
Go
talk-
God bless
Bruins.
Later, brother.
Go
Bruins.
Take care.
Yeah.
Ray Bell.
Go Bruins.
Hey, now, hey,
Go
now, Doc.
Bruins.
Hey, Ray,
Sir.
I got to tell you one thing about Wayne Embry. If something went where he was not happy, and he would call you in the office and chew you out, the next day, it was never happened. He never held a grudge. I
Leadership.
don't know if you heard that about him or not.
Exactly.
But he never held a grudge. You'd come in afraid the next day and he would just talk a whole different subject, a whole new day. There was no grudges held, And I always remember that about him and how special he was, because there was times where he disagreed with what I did, or, back in the day, Ray, we couldn't even get an x-ray, never mind an MRI.
He ran away.
So, when I had an injured player, and he happened to be a Bruin and he thought I was sticking up for this Bruin.
Yeah.
Well, we went ahead and I talked him into getting the x-ray, and they found out he had a broken kneecap, and the guy wasn't faking. And he just said to me, "Okay, Tony, it's over. Fine. Just make sure you're never wrong again."